everyone. This is Alexis Boss, and welcome back to your favorite Black Lobbyist podcast. All right, I have a very special guest with me today, Miss Dwayna Haley. Let's give a round of applause for our guest. Yes, thank you so much. Dwayna is the founder of WHOAskedthePRGirl and has 20 plus years of experience in the PR and marketing industry. So we have not only just that girl here with us today, but we have a woman who is well versed in the communications PR marketing space, along with other things and ventures she has her hands in. So I'm super excited to get in today's conversation. But like I always like to do is ask our guests, who is Dwayna Haley? How did we get here? What is our journey? What's the story?
Oh, wow. Well, thank you for having me. I'm very excited to have this conversation with you. You know, I think the world of you. I adore you. I am a country girl from a small rural town, Stuttgart, Arkansas. Has less than 8,000 people who live there, and was there until I was 10 years old, and then moved to Nashville a few years after my father passed away. My mother got remarried, and we moved to Nashville, Tennessee. And that's where I spent the rest of my, adolescence and, and growing up, if you will.
Yeah.
Went to college there in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, at Middle Tennessee State University, and met my husband in college. We moved to California for a few years, and about a little less than 20 years ago, we moved here to Atlanta and have been here raising both of our babies here. We have 2 babies. So I've been in, like you said, PR marketing for over 20 years now, working mostly in the agency world at global agencies, leading consumer portfolios. But have dabbled on the client side as well. So, I like to think I'm girl next door. Learned a lot throughout life in terms of my career, and certainly, personal life, being a wife and a mom. Been married for 19 years now.
Oh, that's right. Good.
And have 2 babies, a 12-year-old girl and 16-year-old boy. So, I'm just like I'm every woman. I do all the things, or at least I try to do all the things.
Yeah.
And, life is life. Life is good.
I know that's right.
Yeah.
I've learned so much about you in these just 30 seconds.
Okay.
Because I did not know, apparently, where you were from and that you lived in other states.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to, again, just kind of get into that because it, again, shows people that, one, we are not one-dimensional.
Right.
And the journey to get to success, or what success looks like for either others or ourselves, looks different, right? And it's not linear.
Absolutely.
And I just like to show people that, because people think they see the glitz and glam, they see the lights, they see the social media post, and or they see the resume.
Yeah.
Right? And they're just like, oh, I want that. How do I get to that? And I'm pretty sure you got asked that plenty of times, right?
For sure.
And sometimes the answer isn't just, oh, well, here's 1, 2, 3, right? It's, sometimes you can't even give it, because it just, it's not,
definitely not a linear path.
It's not
a linear path.
And you gonna go through some stuff, and I feel like,
for sure.
and I feel like this
for sure.
current generation, they, and not all, but a lot of them have this, and it could be a association with the internet and social media, but they have this like, oh, what's gonna happen. Because social media is like that, right? You see it, you get the highlight reel of everybody's life.
Yeah.
But no one really tells you what you go through, your experiences, and how a lot of times those experiences and what you go through does shape your path and your knowledge and your wisdom into how you show up in different spaces.
Absolutely.
So I personally think that's a great segue into this hearty conversation, if you can't tell by the title. But Dwayna has created what you would call a mini series on Instagram, on social media platforms, in a sense about the power and the perception of how Black women show up how Black women operate in corporate America, I would say in conjunction with, lot of times with white women or just in people in general, and just how that looks and what that looks like. And I'm so eager to get into this conversation because finally someone is here to have to talk. So I would definitely say, like I mentioned, you have created a series, right? And it's Who Asked the PR Girl?
Yes.
What inspired you, right, to start this conversation publicly?
Yeah, I think it was a couple things. I have been watching everything that has been happening with Black women ever since Kamala lost the election. And we saw the rapid exiting that was happening in 2025, how we went from 100 to 200 to 300,000 to 600,000 to now we're over 700,000 Black women have been exited from the workplace. And I think that it would be easy for people to look at the business reality of that, the economics of that, all of the legitimate reasons as to why layoffs and terminations happen.
Yeah.
But when you look at the fact that we are disproportionately impacted by these exits, like the job market is crazed and it is suffering, right? Employment market, all of it's suffering. But when you look at when the number hit 600,000, I went, now that's an epidemic.
Yes.
And as someone who used to lead work for the CDC, I am clear about the fact that anytime a large population of people, a large demographic within a population of people are impacted, there usually is a ton of research to figure out, what's going on, why is this happening? We want to make sure that this, the disproportionate impact doesn't happen like this again. And Black women are losing their jobs, not being rehired in the same capacity as other folks, and no one's asking questions. And when you look at that, that tells us that there is a lot of bias and discrimination that are driving these decisions. I think that some of them are sitting behind the idea of reorg and restructure or layoff. But I believe that those legitimate business reasons and uses are being used to target us. And so I wanted to have a conversation about what's happening behind these exits.
Yeah.
What's happening in the workplace every day? What are the behaviors and things that we encounter that impede our advancement? What are the things that happen after the exit? All of those aggressions, microaggressions, the bias, all of the things that we deal with that we don't talk about.
Yeah.
We talk about with each other.
Yes.
Right? But I think that it's really important that we start to have these conversations and say the quiet parts out loud, which is what my series is all about. I want to make sure that we feel less alone. We feel less siloed in this journey. And you can still, even if you have a girlfriend community that you're speaking to, you still go back to the workplace if you are employed and you're alone. Because usually there's one of us on every team or, one in every department.
Right.
Or, and certainly when you get to the top, the numbers get very, very low.
If there is one. Yeah.
I wanted to center us. I wanted to create safe space for us. I also recently lost my grandmother in October.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I think since she passed away, she's always been a constant, voice of strength in my life. And, she always used to teach us that the future cannot change the stories that history never tells. And so you have to use your voice, even when it feels like, no one will listen, or even when it feels like there is risk.
Yeah.
You really have to say it. So even if this series never goes anywhere and I only get like a couple hundred people watching or whatever, I know just even already from the comments that I've received and the direct messages I've received that there are
Yes.
women that are feeling very seen
Yes.
in this moment and very like, oh my God, so it's not in my head. So
Yes.
it's not just me. So the work is important because of that. I
Yes.
want us to feel less alone. I want us to know that there may be some legitimate business reason as to
Yes.
why exits are happening. But I think that we can take a nod from this political climate and where we are, this polarizing moment in the country, to understand that what is happening to us is targeted, and intentional. And it's okay for us to talk about what that feels like and what's leading to it.
You said so much, and I kind of want to touch on some of the things that you mentioned, because everything you said is absolutely true. I mean, Black women are at a higher rate disproportionately losing their jobs, right? To the point where no one, usually when something like that happens, right, those numbers, a study, all these different academic groups, everybody jumps in to be like, try to figure out why. And it shows at a systemic and institutional level the lack of care, or even the lack of notice Black women don't receive, right, in these spaces. And then on the other level, right, on the micro level, we have Black women that you've personally talked to, that I've personally talked to, that we personally have went through, right, and talked to each other about. Yes. Our personal experiences, where it's moments I know I've came to and I'm like, am I tripping? Is it in that moment right there where I'm like, and you've been like, no. It's not. It's what you're feeling is correct. And just, again, I've mentioned this on the podcast, my own personal story, like last year or in 2025, I was laid off for, restructuring or reorg decisions, right?
Same.
For my same position to be on Indeed or LinkedIn the next day.
Same.
Right.
Oh, well, I don't know if it was next day, but it's been reposted.
It's been reposted, right? And you're telling me in one breath that, oh yeah, like it's just we're dismantling your role, so it's not you. You did great. It's the role. It's a business decision. But then I'm like, well, I'm not stupid. So it's that level of it's many levels and layers to it. And the gaslighting is real. It is a level of not being heard, not being seen. And to have this series, that's why I jumped on it to get you on the podcast. Because I'm like, someone is saying the quiet part out loud, and they're not afraid of the risk, right? I say quote unquote risk because I feel like a lot of people, they don't say it out loud because they do feel, and granted, saying things that goes against the grain does come with risk, right? I don't want to make it seem like it's some, boogeyman effect, right? But I'm just, I guess for me, I'm exhausted.
Yeah, I think I can't say that I haven't tussled with the risk. I've had many conversations with myself back and forth in my head around, I don't want to be perceived as antagonistic, as attacking anyone or any organization. I also want to remain hireable because the financial aspiration that my husband and I have requires us both be bringing in income, and so, and it's so easy for us to be dismissed and for the risk to be tangible to us, tangible in terms of not being hired again. Not that anyone would be direct or honest to say, you can speak truth to power every day, but that feels risky to pull into my organization, someone with those views or someone with that experience or whatever. So it's certainly the risk. I have danced with it.
Yes.
But I also know that it's not changing. And I keep looking around and waiting for someone to have this conversation. I keep looking around waiting to be seen. And it feels crazy to have over 20 years of career experience and to feel invisible within your industry, within your career? Like, it just like, how am I not moving from role to role? How do I not have headhunters and recruiters beating down my door based on my experience, but I don't. And I know that I am not unique in that. And the experience of it is so acutely painful at times and worrisome at times that I think I just finally got to a point where I was like, okay, I got to talk about this.
Yeah.
I've got to talk about this. I know someone understands. I know plenty of people understand from the, talking with you and other Black women. I know plenty of people understand. But I am, they say faith and fear requires the same thing. Both are belief in something you cannot see.
Yes.
And I have chosen faith in this, in that I am faithful, that I feel faithful that this work will be rewarded, if for nothing else than other Black women, saying thank you. And I am getting that already. So I already feel the positive impact of it. Now, the long term and how it reflects with me and my career, who knows? But maybe it opens up other doors, maybe it because I will tell you, it has literally for at least the last year, when that progression started to happen with Black women, it was waking me up at night.
Yeah.
Like I just couldn't sleep with, just based on the thoughts that I was having around it. And then I too was a part of the number.
Yes.
And then it became very visceral and very tangible. And I was like, okay, I got to talk about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That answered the question I was going to ask of why now, right? Because I know people are like, well, why do this now? And I think we're so used to, especially on the digital media market or the side of things, that things are so performative, right? But I'm glad that you're showing that this is not performance. This is actually a personal experience, but also this is something that even you can even call as an advocate, that it needs to be said. It needs to be spoken. It is born
out of necessity.
Yes.
It is born completely out of necessity.
Yes.
I am nurturing myself and giving myself space within this, but I hope I am also creating space for other women like me.
Yeah. And that part that you mentioned right there is a healing part, right? Because I think as Black women specifically, I know we have those attributes or those stereotypes connected to us with, antagonistic and threatening, and it's those things where it's like sometimes we don't feel allowed to feel how we actually truly feel, because we're so worried about the feedback or the perspective or how it looks or comes off, or we overthink.
We're worried about the punitive response.
Right.
Our feelings typically carry punitive response.
Right.
If we're sad, we're chastised for that. If we're angry, actually angry, not like being angry Black woman at work, like the
justifiably.
If we're justifiably angry,
right,
it comes with a punitive response.
Right.
Everything that we feel comes with some sort of negative reaction, unless our feelings are of happiness and joy that create comfort for other people. Yes. And that is something that quite frankly, it's killing us.
Yeah.
It's killing us.
Like from the inside out.
Oh yeah. Like we have a mental health crisis.
Yes.
We have a heart disease problem. We have autoimmune deficiencies.
Yes.
We have stress, and all of that, ingesting all of that and never having anywhere to go with it is killing us.
It is.
And I'll just be damned.
Yeah.
If life kills me because it refuses to let me feel.
Yes.
Like I just won't.
Yeah.
I just won't. And I want that to be true for so many more of us. There is a such thing as emotion regulation and being responsible with your feelings. Of course.
Yes.
And there also are spaces where you can be absolutely irrational and irresponsible with your feelings.
Right.
I think that I am mature and wise enough to know the difference. And I don't think talking about something should automatically indict me from any level of opportunity that I've earned, honestly, and that I'm capable of having. So I can have this response. I can have this I can have this conversation respectfully.
Yes.
But I also am okay to have it directly.
Yes.
And have it be very clear as to what is happening with us.
Yes. I think that's a great segue into one of your themes is, are you the threat, right? Mm-hmm. And, you know, one of your first topics is, are you the threat? What does that question really mean, especially in the context of the workplace, mm-hmm. right? And how does that show up?
Yeah, I think that because we are, because the experience of us, the belief of us is filtered through so many stereotypes mm-hmm. and so many tropes that when we show up in excellence, and certainly if we are outperforming people at our level and above, mm-hmm. It naturally, or not naturally, because that's not natural, it triggers mm-hmm. a sense of competition and confrontation. Mm-hmm. And the easiest way to displace us, the easiest way to distract us is to leverage the idea of being a threat mm-hmm. to neutralize us mm-hmm. because it stops us from being able to move. Mm-hmm. So it shows up in, you know, I think a lot of different ways. People should understand that, you know, Black women, Black people, women of color, but certainly Black women, you know, I center us, we are required yes. to overdevelop. Mm-hmm. So we are told from stepping into the workplace yes. that we have to be twice as good to give half as much.
Absolutely. Stepping into life.
Right. You got to be twice as good.
Right.
To get
I got the spiel to half.
As much.
Not even right? The whole thing.
Not even the whole thing. Just yeah.
Half. Just be happy with the half or piece you get.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So imagine how that compounds mm-hmm. 5 years, mm-hmm. 10 years, mm-hmm. 20 years into your career. If you started from the get, mm-hmm. from the nip, mm-hmm. as my grandmother would say, okay? If you started always operating in a space of being twice as good, mm-hmm. that is going to compound, and naturally, mm-hmm. you are going to outperform everybody yeah. that you work with.
No matter the experience you
got.
Just
as a matter yeah. of standard practice and function, mm-hmm. it's impossible for you not to yes. because you've had to operate in this way, yes. right? Naturally, you would think that, okay, if I'm performing so well, then that should create room,
right?
Open doors for my advancement,
right? Right.
Instead, you are working beside people, the majority, who haven't been required to do that.
Yep.
They can, there are a lot of different things that, and that's not to say that there aren't plenty of them that aren't really good at their job, mm-hmm. that aren't really passionate about mm-hmm. their career and field and space. Absolutely. But when you are not required to overdevelop and overperform,
right,
there is a level of complacency, mm-hmm. a comfort.
Yes.
You know, that sits with, you know, I can just like my job and just, you know, be good.
Show up.
I don't have to be great at my job.
Yeah.
We go in being great. Right?
As the baseline.
Yeah,
that's
right?
starting.
Whether we reach the mark or not.
Yes.
You know, over time, you learn to meet that mark and surpass it.
Yes.
Right? Okay. So now you're working beside people who are not able to naturally mm-hmm. perform with the strength that you do.
Yes.
That are not able to achieve the results that you achieve. Mm-hmm. And that sense of competition that they feel, because the workplace rewards comparison. Mm. Right?
Okay.
That's what the workplace does. It rewards comparison. And there is a scarcity mindset and a scarcity model that is institutionalized across any organization, company out there. Scarcity is there can only be one. There's one promotion.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
There's limited seats at the table.
Right.
There's limited, there's limited bonuses and merit increases. So that scarcity combined with competition.
Yeah. it's going
the majority starts to feel a sense of displacement.
Yes.
Even if it's imagined.
Yes. Oh.
And so in order to, what I have found, how it shows up, What I have found is, in order to neutralize our competence, in order to neutralize our performance, what's used is shared bias. Shared bias is we all think this about them. And there are things that can be said that naturally trigger that sense of bias. And anytime bias enters the picture, then you are a risk. So being a threat is something that automatically neutralizes. And sometimes not even just neutralizes, it sometimes penalizes us. And so now, instead of doing your job, focused on, achieving and doing all the things, now you are distracted because you are trying to figure out, why are they talking to me like that? Why is everything that I say being filtered through this wildly illogical behavior filter? Why is my passion anger and yours is innovation and bold and decisive? Why is my directness anything other than clarity? Why do I have to sit in all of these tropes? And it's often not tangible. I say that bias is sophisticated. It has learned to be imperceptible. It has learned to be imperceptible. It has learned to make you internalize and think, well, maybe it's me, because I don't know how other people operate, but I'm never the Black woman that wants to cry gender or race when anything happens with me. The very first thing that I do is assume accountability. I am auditing my behavior. I am auditing my actions. I am auditing my performance to see, where did I not meet the mark? But when you are not discussing performance, because clearly the metrics are there. Clearly the deadline was met. Clearly the thing was done.
I'm checking the list off. So where are we?
So why is there always a problem that follows me? Whatever the problem may be, tone, well, it was this, but I don't know if it was quite there, and the threat, the sense of you being a threat, us being a threat. Is probably one of the most ubiquitous levers of bias.
We're going to put ubiquitous at the bottom so we can put the definition.
Ubiquitous. It's like the Lord, omnipresent. It's everywhere. No matter your industry, your level, it is always on. It is always on. And so if you're distracted and you're trying to figure out why is there always then all of a sudden your performance can slip. You can make the mistake. You can miss the deadline. You can respond in irritation because you are irritated. You are agitated. You are confused. You are human.
Oh no. Black women can't be human now. Don't be human.
Don't be human.
Don't be a person.
And it is extremely frustrating. And I think that it took me a long time to figure out that it is systemic and that it is intentional. I actually have a very close white woman. I was going to call her a peer, but she's not a peer. She's a mentor and a friend and a coach. And early on in my career, I was not faring well. Everything was
feisty.
I was tired. You're gonna stop coming for me. You're gonna stop making this about me. I'm doing my job and I treat everybody well, and I'm respectful to. I'm not insubordinate. I'm respectful up, out, and down. So there cannot be a problem with me. Why do you keep trying to find a problem with me? Why are all my days riddled with problems? And she pulled me to the side and was like, "You don't speak white woman." And I was like, "Do you speak English?" Because if you speak English, then yes, I do. And she's like, "No, the cultural disparity. You don't get us. and we don't have to get you.
You don't get us, and we don't have to get you. And that's that part. Because I think, not to cut you off, but it's that part where I think as professionals that show up in this space, there's a certain level of reciprocity.
Yeah.
Right? There's an exchange. Whether it's transactional, it doesn't matter. There's an exchange. So we're expecting an exchange, whether it's a professional one or not. So
we can grow together.
So we can
build relationships.
Because look, we're coming in like, I'm coming in here to help the engine run.
Yeah.
Right? Because I know me at it plus everybody else, we gonna make the engine run and we gonna make it better.
Yeah.
And it's that part where it's like, oh, you don't care if I help make the engine run or make it better. It's actually, again, it's that perceived threat.
What you care about is me not running the engine better than you.
Yes. Yes.
And at every point, because I have been overdeveloped, I am a constant reminder of what you can't do.
I feel it in my bones. I want to shout, scream, and you see my feet tapping.
Now, that's unbeknownst to me.
Yes.
Because I'm not walking around with ego.
Yeah.
I'm not walking around trying to intentionally make you feel a way.
Yeah.
I'm trying to survive.
I'm trying to just show up.
I'm trying to keep my job.
Right.
I'm trying to keep my check.
It
ain't got nothing to do with you at all.
Yeah.
And systemically, I've been required to overdevelop. So it also is not my fault that I sit here better. It's not my fault.
Yeah.
So to be penalized for something that the system required for me to do to have the seat anyway.
Yeah. Is
child.
Yeah.
Grits cooked.
Yeah.
Hotter than fish grease. I was over it.
Yeah.
And so she said, let me help.
Oh.
Let me be a safe space.
Wow.
Say the thing to me that you would want to say in that meeting.
Yeah.
Say the email, send me the email. I'm not trying to micromanage you. I really want to help. And she did.
Wow.
And there have been so many conversations that I have had with her that have helped me to close the gap on the cultural disparity, and also recognize my own bias where it sits and where it exists, right?
Yeah.
But even recently in doing my series, she called and she was like, I'm cringing watching. And I was like, why?
Yeah.
And she was like, because I realized for as much help as I gave, I realized all the conversations and the things that I heard that were purposely said in a setting with people just like me meant to trigger us all to think that thing about you. And it wasn't, and whether about me or women like me, right? And it was a thing of, small little thing that said that they all, because they share same culture.
Absolutely.
They say small thing that said that triggers it in the rest of them, and all of a sudden in that moment in a room you're not in, you've been diminished. And depending upon what type of manager you have, now all of a sudden your workplace experience is also going to change, because now we all think something about you. And also you've also given us bullets in the chamber, to shoot you down anytime you get a little too big for your britches, as my grandmother said. Anytime you get to feeling a little bit too high on your own supply and feeling good about what you've
smelling
accomplished.
Yourself.
I remember a manager saying to me once that you feel like you are this important to the company, when really you are this important to the company.
To your face.
During my performance review, after a year of excellent performance, by the way, that I got in 360 feedback, up, out, and down. There was no one who had anything bad to say. There were people that were actually clamoring to give 360 feedback about me. And in my review, she said, you think you're this important, but really you're that important. And
wow,
I was just shocked, because I'm like,
but
I don't know that I've ever quantified my importance in here. I've quantified what value I bring and what value I'm responsible for.
Right.
And I think that has been substantiated and underwritten by other people other than me, But again, it was that And if you get to no,
I gotta bring you back down.
I'm gonna neutralize you and reset your climb.
Yeah.
So if you got up here, nope, I'm gonna pull you back down, and I'm gonna reset your climb and make you work yet again. And that keeps you on this hamster wheel of staying basically in the same place.
Yeah, I've had something similar, not as bold, close, but I still felt, but like, what you just say to me? One, that is crazy. That is, and I feel I can relate so much to what you said earlier about, you know, the younger you and the starting your career when you were just like, because that's me. And I've had to have mentors, in a sense, just come and be like, because I'm ready to not give you buck. I'm ready to fight. Because how dare you, right? And it's one of those things where a lot of people experience that.
Yeah.
A lot of people are being told boldly, you need to, like, how do we get this person? A friend of mine actually told me recently, she said her manager asked another Black woman, how can we get her, like, me and my friend, compliant? How can we get her in line? And I'm just sitting here like, what? So it's those things where you're like, you can't speak to me this way because it's not professional. But then it's that level of, I'm doing my job. So I'm not quantifying my value or importance. I'm doing what you're asking me and telling me and what is required of me to do. And I excel in it. And that should be applauded. That should be rewarded. Why is it being perceived again as a problem? Why are you telling me on my performance review, oh yeah, you're doing great. Like, you're showing up great. The numbers looking great, all the things. You're like, okay, cool. But then on the flip side, same conversation, same breath. Oh, but you need to relax. You're getting to, you know, there's a level of knocking you down.
Yeah.
And I was even going to add that, because for me, I've had those conversations similarly where I'm having a performance review or I'm having a review and it's like, oh, yeah, you're doing great. Your work is great. But the subjective stuff. It's the subjective stuff, right? And I'm like, well, what does that have to do with the job? And so I think then the majority, right, comes into the question when, for me, I'm not going to be knocked down. I'm not going to be combative, right? I'm not going to sit up here and go back and forth. I'm not going to argue, but I'm not going to diminish my light to make yours shine better. My aunt, who also recently passed away in the end of 2024, thank you, I appreciate that. She told me since I was probably like at 10 years old, and I live by this quote. She says, never put out someone else's light to make yours shine. And I live by that because a lot of people try to do that to other people, to me. And it just reminds me to continue showing up as light, right? Even when others are trying to diminish that, to make themselves look better. And I feel like when we get to those conversations, I realize, let me start looking because I may be on the way out, because I'm not going to, I don't know how to, right? It's that conditioned of, I don't know how to be less than light. I don't know how to be anything but the sun. Yeah. I don't know how us to not perform high and well and excellent. I don't know how to. That to me, and it could be the Scorpio in me of this and that. It's either I'm excelling or I'm not doing nothing at all. I don't know how to be, and I don't know how to make you comfortable around me. Yeah. Because I'm existing and authentically as myself. I'm professional. I'm doing the job. I'm doing the thing. I don't know what you want from me. Yeah. And one thing I don't do is tap dance and step on eggshells. I'm here to work. I do my job. I do it well, and I go home. Yeah. I'm cordial. I'm personable. All the things. I don't know what else to do.
Yeah, I think that we have to understand that some environments are just not safe. Yeah. You know, and that feels, finding one that feels like a needle in a haystack, because it feels like there are more that aren't safe. Yeah. I think that our performance excellence feels so powerful that there is a sense, and maybe even a stereotype, that there's no humility that comes with it.
Yeah, the grace.
That we are, that there is, if they give us the credit and the attribution, of strong performance, exceeding expectations, that, you know, ego will come behind that, and then you have a monster on your hands, you know, kind of like, you know, it's like they think we're Thanos out here collecting the Infinity Stones, and like, if I give you kudos and I give you, damn it, that's the 5th stone, and you're gonna close your hand, and half the population is gonna disappear, you know, and it's like, no. The cultural disparity there, what I understand is that the majority doesn't understand that we're just trying to survive.
Yeah, it's out of survival.
It's literally, it's survival.
Yeah.
It is, I want to provide for my family.
Yeah.
Yes, I want to do well in my career.
Right.
Yes, I want to feel a sense of accomplishment. I'm not coming in here every day punching a clock, you know, and going home and having nothing to show for where I spend 80% of my week.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I want kudos.
Yeah.
I want to feel like job well done,
right?
Dwayna. You know, I want to feel that.
Yeah.
And I am human. It is also possible that I can feel ego.
Yeah.
But because there is no safety in the workplace, there really is no room for that with us. Like, it's just kind of like, I just want to do my job.
Right.
I want to do it well enough so that should there ever be a reorg and a restructure,
right,
or a layoff,
right,
I'm not someone that you have to look at.
Yeah.
Because you know that I am a constant. I am steady. I am someone that you can rely on.
Yeah.
That you know.
Yeah.
Even if you chop my department down, you know that I have the ability to shape shift and become an octopus if I need to. I can operate, and or as I used to tell people, I can be a Swiss Army knife.
Okay.
I can be whatever you need, whatever tool you need in the toolbox, right? That's what I'm constantly trying to demonstrate. Now, if that just so happens to be better, different, you know, exceeding against other people, well then, I mean, you know.
Yeah.
I just want you not to have to look at me.
Right,
like,
right.
That's it. I just want you to have to look at me. And not only that, yes, I am working towards advancement. I want to be able to be promoted. I want to be able to make more money. I want to be able to, you know, rise and shine, as does everyone in their career.
Right.
And it's troubling and really exhausting when that neutralization happens, when that knock you down, you know, reset, so that you have to, because the rebuild is not ever performance based. It's always based on the subjectivity of tone and attitude and posture and a lot of different things that distract from being able to do the job well, because now I'm not being myself. And I think that what you said earlier around I'm not going to tap dance and all of that. I've gone through plenty of different seasons. There are seasons that I was like, okay, I'll give you a
I'll give you a boop, boop, boop.
I'll give you a 1-2 count.
Yeah.
You know? But not too much.
Yeah.
Not too much.
Yeah.
On it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But what I recognize is that I was winning the battle and losing the war.
Yeah.
And sometimes it really is just unconscious bias, cultural disparity. Never worked with anyone like you. Don't know anything other than what I've seen on television of the caricature of what a black woman is. And often when we are characterized on television, we are extra. We are loud. We are angry. We are vindictive. We are, you know, ridiculously unregulated in our emotion. It's dysfunction. We are dysfunction. We create confrontation. Yes. We are man eaters, or man haters, right? You know, or man users, right? Like there's not a really
positive
at all.
And when
if you've only seen that, and maybe you were in class with one, you know, like, you know, but like we didn't have no group projects together, so like she was in there, but I didn't, you know what I mean? So I give credit to the fact that sometimes it really is just cultural disparity and unconscious bias, things that you've seen and heard or whatever. So I give room and space for us to get to know each other. If that space
received and reciprocated.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Like if you offer that space, then let's
do it.
My very first job out of college, I moved to LA because I was chasing behind my man. No, I wasn't. I moved to LA to be with him.
Yeah.
And the first agency that I worked at was me and all white men. That's it.
Yeah.
Me and all white men.
The whole agency.
With the exception of the CEO's executive assistant. She was a woman from the Pacific Islands or whatnot. So brown, you know. And shout out to Irene. Like, I love her, you know. But she was there in an administrative function, you know, and which was helpful for me to understand the dynamics sometimes of different people, but it was me.
Yeah. And
all white men.
Yeah.
And it was just, I was like, this is like going to China.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody speaking Chinese.
Yeah. It's a whole nother language.
And I can see and read your body language. I think I understand what you mean, but like they didn't get me. And I didn't get them. You know, and I was just kind of like, ugh. Yeah. Now the work should be just the work, but it's
not.
But when that disparity is there, it's hard for trust to build, which means that impacts how you work.
Yeah.
What you're willing to delegate, what you're willing to partner on, it impacts everything when there is no trust.
It's something where, you know, we all go through the cultural training things, right? Where we have the lady or the person come in and give us that whole unconscious and, you know, conscious bias, that you know, implicit bias training, right? Yeah. And everybody's like, yeah. But no one's really understanding and listening because no one thinks it's them, right? Nobody in the room, and everybody has it, right? It's not, you know, for one party or this. It's no. Everybody has it.
We all deal with bias.
We all deal with bias. We all deal with prejudice. You know, and I tell people that when we have conversations, we can get that out the way, right? There's none of that. Like, and I think when we are in spaces, and we as in just people, right, are in spaces that are unfamiliar, right? Where I'm like, I don't get you and you don't get me, because again, culturally, there's just differences of how we operate, how we talk, right? Like, there's like when you see another Black woman a lot of times in another space, right? And it's just y'all, we can have conversations with our eyes. Yeah. Straight whole conversation, right? I have, you know, of course, and I didn't clarify to the audience, you know, you and I used to actually work together with a previous employer, and shout out to LaTanya, but hey, LaTanya. It was LaTanya and I in that department, and we would be a cubicle apart, and we would just look up, say everything with our eyes, and
sit on down.
That's
all it takes.
And sometimes we'll just cackle. Yeah. Quietly, you know, in our cubicle. But it was that level of understanding where the majority were just like, they didn't even say nothing. What are you laughing at? Yeah. And now it's the, you know, and so there's an understanding, right, that culturally just different people understand and get when you see yourself in representation, right? Especially when it's the, you know, it's the what they call it, the good old boy club or whatever, right? And it makes it difficult to break those barriers, especially when you have that. And sadly, we have to deal with yes, it should be about the work, but we do have to navigate those social, I would say, experiences. We have to navigate people.
Yeah, in order for us to show, to get to know people. Yeah, I had to be willing to get to know them, and they had to be willing to get to know me. Yeah. And honestly, somebody had to start. Yeah. You know, and you know, as is true with, you know, women in general, I had to lead. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like I had to lead that, you know, because I think it was I was a scarier. Yeah. Proposition for them than they were for me. Yeah. I went to a PWI, so I was not. I was like,
you were familiar.
But me in that, you know, especially, and it was a small agency. Yeah, I think there were only maybe 13 of us. Okay, including the admins. You know what I'm saying? So very small agency. Yeah. So I started showing up. You know, y'all are going to do pub crawls or whatever,
Yeah.
or beer crawls. I'm like, they're always playing ping pong together in the room or whatever. I'm like, okay, I'll learn to play ping pong or whatever. So, and now today I can count, at least for the first crop of them, because some of them moved on after a year or so. But for the ones that I was with, that 3 years that I was with, they're still very much so good friends of mine. We broke the barrier.
Yeah.
Like we figured it out.
Yeah.
And not without stumble.
Yes.
But we got there.
Yeah.
And I was grateful for that. And so were they, because now they walk into other experiences with women like me not being a foreign territory, not being like, they know what Black women are like when we got to go get our hair done and I'm feeling out of sorts. So I'm in here in my India Ari wrap, you know, and you know, not too much on. I don't feel like, you know, because but they know how I strut in the office when I do get my hair done. And they're like, oh, Dwayna's different today. You know what I mean? And everything became fun to learn and discover. And that created an intimacy that made our work better, even stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I do want to kind of transition into the other point of hypervisibility and how a lot of times that transition goes from, are you the threat, to the hypervisibility piece, right? Which you've talked about. Hypervisibility, a lot of times it's synonymous to really surveillance.
Yes.
And so I wanted you to speak on that, because a lot of times when it's that I call it the phase one piece, right? Where it's like, okay, well, I thought I was doing good. This is the perception, right? And then now we're going into the I gotta watch you like a hawk. Everything you do, I'm notating, I'm knocking. Kind of talk about that and what that looks like, right? How do we? A lot of times people feel that, but what does that look like in the workplace for high performing people?
I think that. You're right. The threat, in my experience, has always come first. At least the tone of you being threatening or something about you subjectively being reviewed and being seen as not the standard, or as I would say, different from the default. And then if I've put it out there that you are threatening, I got to underwrite that. Yeah. I got to give examples for that. I've got to, if I've put out there that not only are you threatening, but you're not as great as you think you are, you're not as strong of a performer as you think you are, I now need data to back that up. And that's where hypervisibility comes in. That's where your arrivals and your departures, and when you show up at meetings, or how you show up at meetings, your tone when you talk, your emails, your, deadlines, your just anything and everything that you do becomes a point of data. Yeah. To be collected. It is either useful or not. Yeah. And it is typically I've even experienced the kind of intentionality around the setup with it, just sort of like, I remember a manager, 10 or 15 years ago, deciding to ask, like, every morning, like, do you always arrive at this time? Do you always get to work at this time? And I was like, yeah, like, been a problem before. And mind you, at the time, so maybe this was like 12 or 13, because Lillian's 12, my daughter's 12, so it was right after I'd had her. And I was like, I'm a new mom again, but I'm here and I'm beasting and I'm getting it done, and like, but yes, I show up at the office at 9:30 every day. You know, that's how long it takes me to get from East Cobb all the way over to here and drop 2 kids off at daycare and, pump and like all of the things. 9:30 is about as good as it can be. But mind you, I'm here until like 7. Yeah. You know? Past and when I get home, I'm like an hour and a half for dinner, time with the kids or whatever, and then I'm back on my laptop. Oof. You're getting emails into midnight. Yeah. So you haven't seen or experienced any lack of my connectivity to my performance and getting things done.
Yeah.
You've not seen a deadline lapse or whatever, but it was just kind of you always get here this time?
Yeah.
And then it became a joke. Oh, here comes Dwayna. She finally decided to join us.
Yeah.
You know, and like, I didn't know what that was. I just was like,
okay,
it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But far be it from us to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know, I just kind of had to consume that.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're under surveillance, you start to act like you're under surveillance.
Yeah.
And that means everything about the nature of your performance changes. Because now I'm not just performing, I'm performing for an audience. I'm not performing to get the job done.
Right.
I'm performing for an audience.
I didn't know I was in theater.
Now, I can't just rely on the efficacy and strength of the work.
Right.
I got to make sure that it was pleasing in thine sight.
Yeah.
If it was really about the performance, then the metrics and the would be objective. Yeah. And you would meet them and you would check the box and it would be fine. Mm-hmm. If it was really about, you know, your performance, you know, the standard wouldn't shift as soon as you meet it.
Yeah.
If it is really about professional development, it would, like, seriously, that you're moving, you're trying to hit a moving target. Yeah. And excellence, when you're trying to meet a moving target, excellence always makes you go internal, as it should. Yeah. You should always be self-reflective. Yeah. Just to, you know, so I'll do a self-scan, like a quick Yeah. This isn't. This is not me. Yeah. This is not a me thing. Yeah. Because I've not been ugly to you. I've not been disrespectful to you. I've not fallen off on my job. I have not started underperforming. I've not been distracted. I have not given any reason to interrogate my work or my performance in the rudimentary and elementary way of which you are designing the reflection of it. I've not given you that. But what I want Black women to understand is our performance and performance excellence is never in question. I don't think I've ever been in a job in which somebody really looked at me and thought she can't do it. Mm-hmm. It was, how does it rate and rank by comparison? And by comparison, sometimes unbeknownst to me, that shine, that light, that sun became too hot, became too bright. And my now, I can say this, oh my gosh, it's so crazy to be able to say this, but my now good friend, Bozema St. John, tells this story about being the sun. Have you heard her tell this story?
No.
So she tells this story about being the sun. I am the sun. She says the same thing you says. I'm the sun. Yeah. I know I'm the sun, right? Everybody loves the sun. Yeah. They love playing outside in the sun and frolicking in the sun. They love the sun so much that they invite the sun to come into their house because they want to own the sun. They love the sun. But when you bring the sun into your house, you also bring the intensity of its brightness and its heat. And now you hate the sun. Yeah. The very thing that you love skipping in the meadows and playing outside on the beach on, you now hate. Yeah. And you want to kick the sun out of your house. Right. But the sun didn't change. Your proximity to it did. You got close. You felt the brightness and the burn. The sun was just sunning.
And doing its job. That's it.
That's it. And I think that there are more of us that need to understand that we are operating as the sun, that we are carrying that. What I wish was happening in most work cultures is that people would understand that if you are, as our great Dr. Martin Luther King says, light, darkness cannot exist where there is light. Yeah. Right? You're standing in a dark room and you turn on the light. Everyone is enlightened. Yeah. Everyone. We're sitting under lights now. Yeah. We're there. That light is no different than our wonderful technical crew here. They are everybody is sitting within the light. So why is everyone bifurcating and trifurcating and deciding whose light and what light? Are we not all standing in the light? When you turn on the light, is the light not on? Yeah. Is the light not a benefit to us all? Now, I understand that there are brighter wattage. You know, you go to the store, you go to Home Depot, you can buy this wattage or that wattage or, you know, bright, and some people like it like,
yeah,
I get that. But light is light.
Yeah.
Light is light. And that is how I treat my teams. That is how I want to be treated. We are all points of light in the workplace. Some are flickering bulbs and need a bit more development and need a bit more nurturing and need a bit more, you know, encouragement. Some are just bright and can shine and go. They front center stage ready. Cool. Good. That's one less person and one less thing I got to worry about.
Right.
I don't want to dim your light. Lord knows I don't want to dim anybody's light. That's more shit I got to do.
Right.
I don't want to do more on what I'm already doing.
Right.
I want you to shine.
Right.
I want us to be treated like that as well.
Yeah.
And if that is, if our shine is too bright, then stop requiring us to overdevelop just to be here. I'm more than happy to be and do exactly like learn on the job, like my job, enjoy my job, not enjoy my job, whatever. Learn as I grow or learn as I go and grow as I go. Okay. You know?
Yeah.
But when you say that my safety in having a job requires that I be twice as good,
for half as much,
then how else am I going to provide for myself and my family? How else am I going to have a life at all? Yeah. So, you know, either make the standard equitable or understand that you have underestimated your own standard. You know?
That you set.
Yeah. And so so us is a damned if you do, damned if you don't. If I go in and I underperform, you definitely gonna get rid of me. If I overperform, well, now you want to get rid of me because the system rewards comparison.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be compared to someone when you haven't had a similar equitable journey.
Yeah.
In learning. Learning by earning is a very, very real thing.
Yeah.
And we learn by earn.
Yeah. And
it builds a performance muscle that is wicked.
Yeah. It's nasty.
You know, it's wicked. Yeah. I love it. Yeah. You know? But at the same time, I imagine it can feel sometimes intimidating.
Yeah.
But that's not a me thing. Like, you know, I said once early on, that I was sick of this one particular woman. Like, just sick. I was just like,
fed up, done.
And I was like, you know, it is not my fault that God made you, and he made me. It is also not my fault that when you look in the mirror in the morning, it is not my reflection you see. Ooh. There is nothing that penalizing me in the workplace is going to do to change that. With all of the privilege that you have, you don't have to diminish me. You actually can be ordinary and still exist.
Yeah. Happily, successfully.
Nobody's requiring you be anything other than ordinary.
Yeah.
I actually envy that. I would love to have an ordinary day, but as it stands, the requirement is always extraordinary for me. What I don't want is have to deal with the fact that you mad at something or someone else because when you look in the mirror, you don't see me. There's nothing you're ever going to be able to do
to be me.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And honestly, God bless you in your journey that you haven't had to.
Yeah.
You should be happy that you don't have to, you know, or I don't know. Sack up. Mm-hmm. Join me.
Yeah.
You want to know what it feels like to sit in these shoes and do this and have to overperform and outperform? Lock arms.
Yeah. I will challenge and even say or add, I don't even think it's the fact that they didn't probably realize they were ordinary.
No.
Until they got next to you.
Right.
And so it's that level of not only just mirror holding, right, that you have to put in someone else's face to be like, this is you, this is me. It's the level of, I didn't even know.
And that's the thing. They didn't come into that realization alone, because naturally privilege doesn't see you as better.
Yeah.
Especially when it is the default authority in the workplace, right? I told you, systems and workplaces reward comparison.
Yeah. Somebody
else made them aware that you were better. There was a comment that was made in a room you were not in. It was, Alexis really did da 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 da. Yeah. And when they thought about what they do, it was, I don't even know if I would have thought of that. Yeah. I don't know that I would have done the same thing. Yeah. I don't know that I would have, and then the own self audit is like, oh, well, I can't. Yeah. I can't. Yeah. My grandmother told me a story once, and my therapist actually reminded me of it, which tells me that old Southern black women have been telling this story for a very long time.
They own
it. Or maybe it's old Southern black women and Southern black men, but she told me once that, you think about it this way. There are two men, one white man, one black man. Both of them are plowing a field. Mm-hmm. Okay, they both have a mule plowing a field. The black man's field is beautiful and bountiful because his mule is operating the way that it should, which makes his workday easier, which makes his crops better. Yeah. The white man's mule is stubborn and giving him the pits, which is making his day harder and making his fields not as prosperous. Yeah. So what does he do? He shoots the black man's mule. Oh. And when his son comes to him and asks him, well, Father, why did you shoot his mule? And he said, well, son, if you're not better then what are you? When I say that we are operating in generational.
Oh, that's a thing.
Stereotype. Yes. And disparity. That's it.
That's a thing.
Somebody in the workplace alerted this person who had seniority to you that there was you were better, or that or hell, maybe that you just did something well. Yeah. And so what is happening is that every day you're coming in and your mule is being shot. Yeah. Because if I'm not better than you, what am I?
I'm nothing.
What am I? Even James Baldwin says it in his book, I Am Not Your Negro, that the white man created the nigga. Yeah. And he created that. Yeah. Right? Created that because you needed someone to feel. Yes. You needed to feel, right? Right. We didn't have to be that, but that was created. Right. That's what's happening. And I don't think that it is, again, always implicit. Yeah. But it is generational.
It's a thing.
And it is stereotypical. Mm-hmm. And it is passed down. Yes. And I think that even there is not a lot of self-awareness around it. Mm-hmm. That's hard. Yeah. So that's why I say when I'm in a situation where there is a cultural disparity, I don't naturally think you think I'm less than or whatever, but I do know that if you haven't had experience with me, then you are operating completely in bias. Yeah. You have no other experience. Yeah. That's it.
Let's say this. We are going to continue this conversation in part 2 because we're just now touching the surface. I mean, as you can tell, this conversation has so much meat that it needs clearly another part. And Lord, maybe a part 3, 4, 5. I don't know, y'all. But please stay tuned. Come back next week for part 2 of this episode. I'm so thankful that y'all were with us to the end of this one. But yes, please come back because we have more and more to talk about. Okay, till next time. Bye.